big question that I often get asked is what are these cell salts? So I thought it would be good to put together a video for you all, just breaking them down and what they all entail. The cell salts are best thought of as the building blocks of humanity. The cell salts are the 12 basic substances found in every cell of the body, every organ, every muscle, just everything that makes us up. They were discovered by Dr. Schussler with his experiments in which the body was reduced down to ash, and they found that only those 12 substances remain. So with that, they've been kind of prepared homeopathically in such a way now that they're called cell salts because they can just be absorbed directly into the cells and bypass digestion completely. They're different than homeopathic remedies in this way, as they're really just super bioavailable minerals which our cells need in order to thrive. Every organ needs them, every muscle, everything. So when we have deficiencies, things can start to go a little bit haywire. But for purposes, though, of this video, I'm just going to be explaining just what they all are. So at a glance, the 12 cell salts are calc-4, calc-phos, calc-sulf, fer-phos, kali-mur, kali-phos, kali-sulf, mag-phos, nat-mur, nat-phos, nat-sulf, and silica. Now to break down each one. First off, we have calc-4. Calc-4 is going to be really just thought of as the stone breaker. Calc-4 can break down effectively almost any stony mass in your body with a particular affinity for those in the glands. It makes it very effective, like with fibrocystic breasts and so forth. Is going to deal a lot with tooth enamel. So if you're a person that's prone to any sort of tooth decay or any form of demineralization, anything to do with the teeth, to make very strong, healthy teeth, you're going to definitely want to consider taking calc-4. It's also going to deal a lot with skin elasticity. So if you're a person that is prone to stretch marks or saggy skin, even crow's feet, things of that nature, calc-4 can really help with your overall skin elasticity and really helping with any issues of saggy skin or even skin that's too tight. Calc-phos. Calc-phos is the first one you're going to want to think of for any kind of developmental delay. So if you have a child that's late walking, late talking, late even with teething, calc-phos can really help to speed up their development. And that's likely due to the fact that calc-phos is one of the key ingredients in making stomach acid. So if you're not really breaking down your food, then it starts to make sense as to how those developmental delays can occur. And then along that same note, it also then makes sense in how it fuels into immunity. Often I'll have people ask me what they could really do to help foster better immunity. And I always say calc-phos for that reason. Next up, we got calc-sulf. Calc-sulf is going to be indicated if there's any kinds of yellow discharges, so even like yellow acne, yellow boils, anytime the body is like leaking in some sort of a way, anything that's yellow, you're going to want to think of calc-sulf because what it does is it really purifies the blood and reduces infections. So almost a way to think of the yellow is that if you have yellow that's oozing out of you, then your blood probably needs some help being more purified. So you're probably a little bit low in calc-sulf. And with that, it can also help wounds that are going to be slow to heal. Moving on, we have fer-phos. Fer-phos is one of the top ones to think of if you suddenly get a fever, especially if it's of an unknown origin of any type. Fer-phos can definitely help with that. Being deficient in it is usually noted by darkness under the eyes because what it really does is it oxygenates the blood. So any sorts of issues with darkness under the eyes, excessive tiredness, you really want to think of fer-phos, or especially if you're prone to really bleeding a lot, nosebleeds, anything like that, fer-phos can really help. Moving on to Cali Mure. Cali Mure often follows Fairfoss with any types of infections. It's kind of like the secondary one. It's really used like if you're sick and you start getting a runny nose with lots of congestion. It could really help to clear that out, especially if it's white congestion, white discharge, things of that nature. And it can really act as well if your tonsils are getting swollen. Kelly Foss now. Kelly Foss is going to be one of the first ones you're going to want to think about for brain support. Kelly Foss is a cell salt used directly by the brain to help nourish and grow and support the brain and the spinal cord. So with those who are lacking it, they're typically more prone just to getting angry because they're really just running on low. So it deals a lot with stress, burnout, just your overall nerve health and any forms of anxiety. Next, we have Kali Sulf. Kali Sulf, being a sulfur-based one, is going to deal a lot with the skin. So it's going to act highly on acne, any issues with the mucous membranes, like if you're prone to, let's say, just maybe sores in the mouth, sores in your digestive tract, it can help with that, and as well as all sorts of various skin issues. Macfoss is very big for cramping, especially period cramping. Well, even more so if it's the type that's relieved by heat. So if when you get your period, if you're really prone to benefiting from a heating pad, Magfoss is definitely something that could help. It's also associated with all sorts of just pains in the stomach, tightness, especially if fueled by any kind of anxiety, and also just for random nerve pain like sciatica can really be helped by it too. Next, we have Natmure. Natmure is the great balancer. Deals a lot with any sort of water retention. So on that note of water retention, you're going to want to think of dryness. So with the dryness, if you really think of what constipation is, it's kind of like you're so dried up, it kind of gets stuck. So dryness, constipation, and even headaches that are also worse from the sun because it's almost as if in that Natmure state, they just can't handle any more dryness. So they're often also bothered by the sun. Moving on to Nat Foss. Nat Foss is going to deal a lot with intestinal worms. So they can definitely help if you have that issue, any issues with indigestion, gas, heartburn. It really just kind of deals with an excess of lactic acid to where it helps to neutralize things more and really help with those various gut issues. Nat Sulf. Nat Sulf is an incredibly important one, and I know they're all important, but I think Nat Sulf is especially important because it's really the great cleanser. It can really help clear out your liver, your kidneys, your lymphatics. It really just keeps things moving for anybody with any sorts of stagnations, and it can also really help with any flu-like symptoms. Silica, if you have any issues in general with your hair, maybe your hair is thinning, weak, brittle nails, any issues with your skin, any issues with connective tissue like wrinkles, silica can definitely help with that. So with that, that concludes my overview of the cell salts. If you would like to learn more, you can check me out at thehomeomother.com.